Hello and welcome to my ePortfolio. We start the tour on my homepage. As you can see, I have written a little blurb to introduce myself and what this website is all about. Before we move on, I just wanted to bring some attention to the cover photo you will see throughout my site. This photo was taken by my wife earlier this year on June 21st, summer solstice. It was taken at nearly midnight. What you are looking at is Prince Rupert Harbor in the foreground and Chatham Sound in the background. The reason I chose this photo is because although Prince Rupert is a place I have just recently started calling home, I already feel very connected to the community. Living and teaching on the North Coast is helping me learn and experience new things, but most importantly, it is opening my eyes to new perspectives on education. Now I will take you to my philosophy of education page. To represent my philosophy of teaching, I have chosen to use this diagram because I believe a good learning environment is cyclical between a teacher and a student. Often I feel that I am learning just as much from my students as they are learning from me, and I believe this is important because we are all lifelong learners. Other themes that emerge in my philosophy of education are the importance I place in developing positive relationships with students, colleagues, parents, and other community members, being open and receptive to diverse cultures, opinions, and perspectives, encouraging students to think critically, understanding that we are all a part of a local as well as a global community, and emphasizing the importance of forward thinking. Now I will take you to the Indicators and Inventories page. On this page, you will find some of what I think are the most valuable tools for self-reflection. My personality, learning, teaching, and leadership indicators and inventories have allowed me to have a more structured self-reflective practice. My personality type, according to the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, is ENFP, meaning that I am extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving. Although people having any of the type of personalities indicated in the MBTI bring a certain value to an organization, my MBTI results helps me identify the strengths that I can contribute. According to my personality type, I am enthusiastic. I make connections between events and information quickly, and I am supportive and spontaneous. In my current school, I believe my strengths can be utilized because I am new to the district, and therefore my enthusiasm to learn about all aspects of the district sometimes re-energizes people who are long-time district employees. The connections I make to my previous experiences are valuable as I have worked for 3 other school districts, including overseas. I am adaptive and therefore catch on fast, and am a firm believer in collaboration and support. You can read more about my connection to my MBTI type in the Reflections page. Next, the score of my visual, oral, read-write, kinesthetic, VARC, Learning Styles Guide, is that I am a multimodal learner, meaning that I do not have a dominant learning preference, but I can learn effectively according to the situation. This indicates something that I believe is essential to good teaching. I believe that using differentiated instruction in your teaching is vital to the development of young learners. In other words, I learn how I teach. Next, in my teaching perspective inventory, the results show that I do not have a dominant teaching preference, but that I hold equal value in being developmental and nurturing teacher, with a very close third in apprenticeship. This reflects of my teaching beliefs, as I believe the most effective teaching happens through constructivism and coaching while constantly offering support, which fuels confidence. Lastly, my leadership practice inventory shows me that I am lacking in 3 categories: model the way, challenge the process, and enable others to act. I believe 2 factors are leading to these conclusions. The first is that I am not currently in a leadership position, and although I did base most of my answers on past experiences in leadership, I do not have a current account of leading. The second is that I am still relatively inexperienced, and because of this, I might be hesitant to challenge the process. As I mentioned earlier, many more details on my scores are available in the reflections page. Next, I'd like to take you to the leadership and followership page. This is one of my favorite pages. It introduces a few examples from our Malum residency and a couple from my past careers. The examples on this page represent a positive experience I have had in being part of a professional team. I found that during the Malum residency in both teams that I was a part of, we were able to flush out our strengths and work cooperatively and collaboratively. I will spare the details as they are written beside each picture. Okay. Next, I will take you to the Mementos page. The Mementos page shows a few objects and memories I was able to take away from the residency that will allow me to remember and reflect on my very positive experiences. Next is the Reflections page. As I mentioned earlier, this page has details about my indicators and inventories, as well as some detailed descriptions related to leadership and followership. In this page, you will find both my reflections on myself as a learner, as well as my reflection on myself as an educator and educational leader. As you can see as I scroll down, I have also included my visual profiles related to each reflection. My visual learner profile shows how building strong relationships keep me afloat in a world of permanent whitewater. The captions and the progression of the images are self-explanatory, but I would like to point out that the photo on the bottom right corner. The reason I chose this photo is because it shows the connection between building positive working relationships that develop into friendships. That day, one of my colleagues, who is now also my friend, took me fishing, and we all reveled in the great experience together. Now, the last page is a glimpse of my personal life and my interests. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the tour.